If you've ever wondered or even asked yourself, after what I've been through, am I still worth loving? Then don't scroll. This video is for you. Hi, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Tosin, and I'm glad to have you here once again. On today's series of Am I Worth Loving? I'll be talking to you on the story of Bathsheba. Bathsheba's story for survivors. If you've ever been sexually abused, assaulted, or you've been taken advantage of, I want you to know that God sees you and you are not forgotten. And today we are going to talk about how this relates to Bathsheba's story in the Bible. Not just as the David's affair, but as a story of a woman whose pain speaks of the story of many people today. And at the end, her name was written in the genealogy of Jesus Christ. As a reminder to you today that your worth is not erased by your pain. Bathsheba didn't ask for what happened to her. In 2 Samuel chapter 11, we saw how King David saw her when she was taking a bath. He called for her, slept with her, got her pregnant. He assaulted her. But remember, he was a king. Saying no to the king would have and must cost her everything. Afterwards, her husband Uriah was killed by David to cover it up, and Bathsheba was left to grieve alone. She grieved the loss of her husband. Her safety was taken away from her, and her story was misunderstood. Maybe that feels familiar to you. Maybe your voice was also silenced. Maybe people saw the headlines and not your heart. But God saw the whole story, and He never looked away from Bathsheba. Bathsheba's name wasn't erased, she was remembered. God gave her another son, which was King Solomon. And more than that, Bathsheba's name was included in the family line that led to the birth of Jesus Christ. And we can see that in Matthew chapter 1 verse 16, which says, David was the father of Solomon, whose mother, Bathsheba, had been Uriah's wife. Can you see that? Isn't that wonderful? This shows that you are not forgotten. Your story cannot be erased. You are still worth loving. God didn't forget what was done to her. And this just goes to show that your story, the very truth of your story, matters to Him. He has not forgotten you. He sees your pain. He feels your pain. You are worth loving. So, if you've ever been hurt in a way that you feel ashamed, you feel dirty, or you feel unlovable, I want you to know that it's not your fault and that you didn't deserve it. And that does not take away your worth. Bathsheba wasn't discarded. She was lifted at the long run. And her life didn't just end in shame. And if God can take her pain and turn it into purpose, He can do it. He can do the same for you likewise. So we can see that Jesus didn't just come from a spotless family tree. We saw that his lineage included Tamar, who was mistreated, Rahab, who was a prostitute, and Ruth, who was an outsider. And of course, Bathsheba's story, whose body was taken, her rights was violated, and whose grief was really great. You may be wondering, and why would God even do that? Because He's not afraid of our pain. He enters into our pain, He refines it, He redeems it. And your story does not disqualify you from love, from His love. In fact, it is the place where God often shows His deepest love. And yours will not be an exception. So, you are not too far gone, you are not too broken, and you are not what was done to you. I want you to know that you are loved, you are seen, and you are still chosen. Bathsheba's story is a proof that even after a deep hurt, a deep pain, God can still restore. Restore not just your circumstances, but your heart. He can bring peace where there was once pain, and He can bring dignity where there was once shame. And if Bathsheba's story spoke to you today, please don't carry your pain alone. God has not forgotten you, He sees you. You are still worth loving. And if you want and need encouragement like this, please don't forget to comment, to like, and subscribe. And also forward this to someone who you know also needs healing. And I am praying for you. Bye. See you in the next episode.